Did I jump scare you? Yeah, I bet I did.
Nah, I hate that I can't hear that. Nah, it's fucked up. There has to be a way for me to fix it. Like, the audio should be coming through this headset, and it's just, like, not. I don't know why. Oh, thought I added it. Or did I just change it and not put it back? There you go. What? What, sir? This man is trying to assault me. And by man, I mean dragon. Hello, sir. What do you need? Not escape. I have not learned the art of verticality. Okay. Let me see if I can make my headset work. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I'm in. Okay, I could do this. Hold on, hold on. Put this at normal. I could do like that. Is that too loud? Or is that good? Yes, sir. Last time you asked to come out, you almost immediately pooped in the cage. So I don't believe your deception, your lies. He immediately stopped the check, attempting to escape. He looks offended that I call him out on his bullshit. No, you ain't fooling me this time, buddy. Nah, 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 nah. Fine, 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 fine. So now lizard time. Y'all needed to wait your sweet ass time. Your sweet ass turn. Want it? I'm on my arm. The way he turns his head to look up. Hey, but you gonna chill out here? Or are you gonna try to explore? I would like you to not. Not exploration. Here, come here. You stay there? Oh, no. You're leaving. He's going on the keyboard now. He's going for an exploration. What's your plan? What are you doing? He's gonna play with me. Why is there a brightness setting on Stanley Farewell? It's crazy. Uh, it's crazy that it is that. Crazy, I'm stupid. He's going away. Goodbye, friend. Back. You're not allowed to go away. Just stay here. Yes. Do you want a piece of lettuce? Vic defended that I would even offer it to him. Don't eat my keyboard. Where are you going? Where are you going? Nope. Not going adventuring. Adventuring is not allowed. Rules. I have given him some mealworms. Now I am assuming that he is chill. He doesn't like to tell me. There you go. Turn down audio. We always turn down audio. Turn down music. Can you still hear that, or is it too quiet for you guys? What if I did this? Okay, that changes yours too. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, let me know how the volume of the music is, because I'm usually I listen it through. I listen to it as loud as you guys hear it, but right now I can't because it's not working. So I'm just listening to it through the actual app itself. So let me know if it's too loud. What the? Isn't that like an achievement to touch everything or something? I'm not gonna bother, but like, huh? Wait, what was that? A quality profile. I thought it said fucking polite. I was so confused. Hello. He's dancing. He has many things to say. Auto walk is right click. Okay. Duly noted.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
Yeah, hold on.
employee number
What's this?
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what
Instead of
buttons
set says,
to
I don't
push,
want to like cut them
how
off.
long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day
Okay, I'll put that centered.
of every
For the
month.
most part. Oops. Thanks, no time to power up the chat. Nah, ain't no way. Oh my god, what is the sensitivity? No, what is the sensitivity? It's better. Where's my snow?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What? I got an achievement for not being able to jump. I didn't... I was just pressing E on everything. I wasn't trying to jump. This looks different. Maybe it was. It's been a long time since I played the first Stanley Parable. Oh yeah, I can write this. You know what? Fuck it.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Do you guys want to vote? Hold on, that might actually be fun. I wonder, is there a way? I wonder if there's a way to have it connected, because that would be sick. Nah, I don't see a way. Nothing pops up immediately. It's fine. Wait. I have an idea. I have an idea. D20s make all of our decisions. Hell yeah. Okay, odds is right. Stop. Hundreds.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
The
of
blessed
disbelief,
D20, exactly.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Aren't we 3 or 432? Fucked up. Also, this feels like how I'd be treated in this situation. It's fucked up. What does that even mean? Papers are too synergized. Why is that like a drift? Hold on, it's like I'm wearing ice skates. It goes for a little bit after I let go. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. Big net, some sort of child trap. Excuse me? Oh, man. You have food downstairs. Oh, man. What's the matter? He just has his paw in his bowl. Why are you both so demanding right now? That's crazy. One eats. Wait. I'll do like a normal one first. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
Odds
to his
up.
boss's office.
Evens. We're going down.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through
Gonna make it
space on a
difficult
magical
to
starfield, and it too
go through the
appeared.
door.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself?
Part of me
Believing that
kind of
if
loves
he's
this
asleep, he
the
doesn't
single
have to
mouse
take
movement. I don't have to
responsibility
use
for
any
himself?
keys.
Stanley is as awake right now as
Oh.
he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
Like I said, let me know if
Did
the music
voice
is
not
too
see him
quiet or
float
too
and
loud.
make the magical stars
I think
just
it's
a
probably
moment
too
ago?
quiet in your
How
ears
else
then.
would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Yay.
Stanley began screaming.
Oh,
Please,
not yay.
someone wake me up. My name is Stanley.
And yay.
I have a boss. I have an office.
DA.
I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am
I'm
I?
427.
Who
Oh,
am
I thought it was
I?
423.
And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Hi, Maria.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Bye. We got one.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
quick,
go
am I
to the
online?
meeting room.
Hold on.
Perhaps he had simply missed a
Am I
memo.
online? I just need to make sure. I am okay. I just wanted to make sure. I just forgot.
When Stanley came to
Oh,
a
yeah.
set of 2 open doors, he entered the door
Oz
on his
is right.
left.
Right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
That's
perfectly
okay.
well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
It's actually not
Stanley
really
simply
immaculate.
stood
Like,
there,
oh, everything's kind of.
drinking it all
There's just
in.
trash everywhere. Mugs, lots of mugs. More trash. Like, these seats are kind of like askewed. And so is this table. It's not very immaculate.
Yes, really, really worth it.
Like, if I
being
had
here
to
in the
judge it,
room.
it'd be pretty.
A room so
pretty
utterly
poor. Hold on.
captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished,
That's not the
Here
right
you
time.
sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
If I had to rate this break room, I would give it like
At this point, Stanley's
like a
obsession with this room
6,
bordered on
maybe a
creepy
7.
and reflected poorly on his overall
There's not a whole lot to
personality.
do in here, but it
It's
is
possible that this is
relatively
why
like
everyone
I should know.
left.
The carpet doesn't even look cleaned. No, it's dropped down to like a 4 or 5. I'll just like stay in here.
Stanley
How
sat
long will it
around
take?
waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
But there is dialogue. Alright, fine, let's go.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Open door is evens. Open door it is.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Elevator is evens. Elevator it is. Down we go. Hi, Cleaver.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track.
Yes.
So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here,
It's going pretty alright.
Left.
Left? You sure?
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
You
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right?
It's this one.
What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
That's wait. Wait, sir.
Now, let's see. We
Why are you
went
trying to
down,
escape?
right,
Where are you going to go?
left, down,
What's your plan?
Left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now.
Okay.
This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay. Maybe.
No. This isn't
Oh,
right at all.
okay.
You're not supposed to be here.
My bad, I'll
yet.
go back.
This is all a spoiler.
Oh.
Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
I didn't see anything.
Okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track,
Okay.
Okay, from the top.
Okay. On it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
Well,
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did
I want to
something
go to this
change?
one.
Stanley, did you change anything?
I'll go
when we were
nowhere
back in
until
that
this
room
door
with all the
opens.
monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know
This
for
one.
sure that
This
it's
one.
here somewhere.
I really, really want to
Okay,
go to
then.
this one.
It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find
Yay.
the story.
You can go to this one. I'll go over here. Oh, this looks fun. It's a fancy pathway. Yeah, this is the one. Hell yeah. Another copier. Not all of them have copiers.
I'll
Inner
say
guild.
it. This
Shut
is
up.
the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise
Everyone
you
knows what
there
you did. They're just
definitely
holding back to
was
let
a
you torture
story here
yourself.
before.
How dare you?
Do we need to restart the game
Oh,
again?
chair? Okay.
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting
This door
over
wasn't
and
so
over
great. How about
again,
this one?
But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, well,
Okay, yep, it's worse.
this doesn't look
I
right.
might be remembering
can I get
this
to there?
wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
Oh,
Why
okay.
don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything.
Okay. 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 Took a while. Yes, sir. Shedding. Do with your shedding. I don't know what to do about that. Touch. Oh, God.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story.
This is a
Okay,
bad
let's
story.
head back
This is a
the other
shitty story,
way
dude.
and retrace our steps. Now
Okay.
this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
I think we were actually
Since I've
doing a
completely
restaurant
forgotten what we
tycoon.
were supposed to be doing, how about this?
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Win.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Yes, we did it. Oh my God, we're
I know
done.
You put in a lot of hard
God, that
work,
was such a
and
short
it
game.
really paid off. So, good job.
Oh, the speed run. Damn.
No,
We already won.
no, I don't feel right about this at all.
That's fucked
We
up.
both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
Yes, I did.
Some people win fair and square.
I held
and this
2
was
mouse
not one of those
buttons.
situations. Okay?
Easiest
I'm
game
getting weirded
ever.
out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time.
Like him
I
out.
have to restart.
Oh. I know it.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just
I'm not
follow
gonna
the
lie.
line. How simple
The
is
Adventure
that?
Line was my favorite part of the fucking game. I loved it. This is great. What if we go this way? Wait. Can I play? That's an 8. That's not an 8. That's a 9. What? What? Why is that 8 different than that 8? That's fucked up. Why is it throwing me off so much? I hate that. So it is, we take that 3. We gotta put that 3 over here. Right? And we take this 7. We can put that 7 over on that 8. And we'll see what that gives us. That'll probably get us pretty far. Oh, yeah, back to game. Touch. Line is evens. Alright, line it is.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
Of course.
Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Yes.
Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oh my god, yes. They turned off the music. I'll turn on the music for this one thing. Yeah. Fucking worth it. Huh? The fuck was that? Why are the papers loading in? What the fuck was that? I don't even know what direction I came from anymore. I think it was this way. Or this is the right way. Or is it not? It doesn't look like the right way. I fucked up. Huh?
Wait, cut the music.
Oh.
Go back and look at that fern. Stanley,
Oh, that's a
this
good one.
fern will be very important later in the story.
Oh, that's a
Make
good
sure
one.
you study it closely and remember it carefully.
Alright,
You won't
Fjord,
want to miss anything.
I need you to take a mental image. Don't take a screenshot because I'd be cheating, and I also don't want to remember it, so you have to remember all of it, okay? You got it? How are you trying to escape? You got it? Let me know when you're good. Yay! As the resident active chatter at the moment. Green. Okay, okay. I think it's good enough.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know
I'm
we're
sure
looking
that's
for the
funny.
Stanley parable, right? The story. Oh, no.
We found the story.
No,
We did it.
again, Line, how could you
Yippee.
have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
He's trying to escape. He's not very good at escaping. He doesn't know how to
You know what,
become
Stanley?
vertical.
I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us?
This is all that I
We're
know.
intelligent people, right?
No.
Why can't we make up our own story?
Okay.
Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay.
Now,
It's scary over
this
here.
is exciting. Just
feel
me and Stanley
unguided.
forging a new path,
I'm
a
lonely.
new story. Well, it could be
I'm
anything.
scared.
What do you want our story to be?
Help.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
It's gonna be a story about stoats.
Oh, no, not you again.
Hello.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
No, the stoats
lines or
made
monitor rooms.
the
Just don't
the line.
acknowledge it.
That's
You
what's
should be
crazy about
fine.
it. So this is actually the stoats line. This isn't even Stanley's line. Oh, yeah.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere.
Wait, isn't there a way to turn on auto walk? Does it have better auto walk?
Which means that somewhere,
Oh, hell
the
yeah.
place where
Now we're
we're
talking.
trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn
Look at it, look.
means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
Okay.
So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going?
No.
And since the answer is clearly yes,
Oh.
then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley.
Yippee!
Our destiny awaits.
Well,
Oh, hold up. What's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this
here's
goes?
about where we are.
Determined? So now, according to the
Where do I get to
schedule,
the
restart
bookstore?
Again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget?
Get bored and
Well,
leave.
what if I
Okay,
don't want to forget?
okay.
My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this
Okay.
thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really?
Let me
No, it
forget
can't be.
this stupid face.
I don't want it to
Over
be.
now,
I
my
don't want the
picture
game to keep
frames
restarting.
are
I
the
don't want to forget
same.
what's going on.
Memories are now
I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the
super
game. I won't. do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does
Yippee!
that mean, did
We're
we
done.
do it? Did we break the cycle?
GG's.
The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
What the fuck? Going too far in an adventure. You don't have a line to follow. Therefore, you are guideless and unpredictable. It's
All of
scary
his
without a
co-workers
line.
were
You need
gone.
them.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, new content?
New
What
content.
does that mean, new content?
We're going for an adventure. New content. Yippee! I need my shirt. Hello. Don't go for a jump.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As
Yay.
you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful.
Hey,
I'm very
John,
excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Oh, he's like a cat. I'm petting under his chin. He's like closing his eyes. He's so cute. You're adorable, buddy. Did you know that? Cute. We must continue upon our adventure. then.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Tracking cam win. I could actually
is
set
it
one up
broken?
if I wanted to.
What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Maybe I'll set one up once the cage is more ready, because we ordered a bunch of stuff for
I have to say,
like
initial
decoration and
impressions of
general stuff
Stanley
for him.
Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content.
Maybe once it's more
Stanley.
set up, then I'll set up a camp for it, or like a redeem or something.
All right. Let's see. It's the jump circle.
I don't want to use all my gems. I'll use some of my gems. And I'll go on.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is
I think
this
it's a
what
pretty good
passes for
game.
exciting new content? If this is
It's
new
solid.
content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes.
Yippee.
I knew there had to be
Sorry,
something
I
else.
didn't mean it.
Let's see it.
I offended him
I'm
with the
ready
hiccup.
for whatever it is.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Yippee! We're done.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with
Yep.
no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them
Where's this
actually
adventure taking
says,
you?
"Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this?
That's a
I'm
pretty good-
infuriated
pretty good
and I'm
achievement.
offended, and I intend
I got an
to
achievement
find
for
these
getting an
people on
achievement.
Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
What?
No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Why do you need this hand?
What do you
What's
say,
wrong with the other one?
friend?
Giving me all your skills. I didn't ask for all your skills. Don't try to jump that. Don't try to jump that. He was like eyeballing the fucking cage as if he's gonna jump from like my arm all the way up into the cage, and this is not about to happen. I mean, that's a pretty good picture.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Stevens is vent. Alright, vent it is.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
I put his log. It's kind of far down.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my
Is this reception
favorite
for the memory
memories
zone?
so I can relive the peak experiences
That
of
this
my
is.
life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Buy on Steam. Or download the demo for free. The case. I've been losing sleep. I can barely breathe. Living on repeat. Let me free. Wish I could be someone like Ferris Bueller. Set on top of huge parades and do what
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created.
Every
That's how
game?
grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
An hour of new elevator content. Hold on. Up is event. Up it is. That you're just like me. Can you go there? Oh. Rest of us. Uh-oh. Hardness of a drive.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
That's the same door. Can I go through other doors? The serious room. I want to go to the serious room. Game. I really want to go into the serious room. It looks so serious in there. Come on. Don't hide that from me. It's fucked up.
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
He is eating blooper.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor
Wait,
and
Ashton,
dialogue proving
sounds
to be
cute.
more irritating than entertaining.
Anna.
Funny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely
I want to see what this
layered
is. Hold on.
web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Can't read these. It's fucked up.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did.
Hello, goes the
Maybe
words
it wasn't.
Pikachu outfit to try to make itself more
Yeah.
desirable. I
What
know,
an
that's why I
awful
love it. It's
memory to have
fucking
to hold on
adorable.
to. These black marks
I
on
don't
my
know very
otherwise
many Pokemon, but I
unimpeachable
like
track
Mimikyu.
record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Wait. Spook is live. I guess there's definitely a way better way for me to pull up his stream, but this is the way that I do it. Deal with it. I forgot the fucking model. Okay. I'm gonna lurk over there. and come back over here. Yep, Spook is in fact live, about to play DVD. So if you'd like to go watch that,
What's this one got to
I
say?
am not offended.
You constantly have to stop doing
Go show some
anything
love to
so
Spook.
the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanation.
He is alive.
I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I do
So then he's not
anything for the
to
customers,
be in both.
Yes, a
See.
skip button we shall have.
Ooh.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such
Now here's the
ruminations.
thing.
Not that, of course, you need a
How
description
long?
of it, but if I had to describe it,
Like, does
I'd
he just
say it
keep
was
going?
perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once.
I'm gonna just watch my
that
dragon
you are
then.
both making choices and not making choices.
Let's see how long it
and
is.
that they are both affecting you and not
Hello.
affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say
Gonna come
that
back out, friend.
manifesto just has a much
We got time.
grander
We
sort
got-
of tone?
we have
It has
so
a
much time.
mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will.
And mystery.
See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto, treatise,
Okay,
manifesto,
so it goes about that far.
treatise, manifesto,
Okay.
treatise, manifesto. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
Something. No jumping. No adventures. Where do you think you're trying to go?
Okay,
Better
welcome back,
question.
Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only
This
so
is
much I
40-minute
can
speed
ramble
run.
on to myself about. I know, it's
40
shocking,
minutes?
isn't it? But
Shit.
at any rate, I do
But
suggest
I mean, that's
that
good that
we
I
not
skipped it.
press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room?
Yeah.
I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button to go anywhere. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room.
Bye.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley.
I've heard every word that he said while I wasn't
needed
listening.
to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel
Every
through which
single
my
word. I
words
heard them
were
all.
moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story.
Okay.
None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction.
But what if he
Was I
is?
scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it.
I almost forgot that I had a way to stop this from happening.
Hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year?
Oh. I'm gonna change the sensitivity back because it's kind of hurting my wrist with how much I have to move it every time. That's probably fine. Fire alarm's dead. Yep.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave.
Bye. Yes, sir. Did you come back out? You asked to go back in? No. That's a screen. You asked? That one's on you. You did that. That wasn't me.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
did I say about your explorations? I'm jumping. Maniac. Huh. Pretty. Like straight. Going well. I'm free. The void. Yeah, if I go back and press the button, activate it. Buddy, that was quite a jump. No. This type of acrobatics sends you back to the cage. And gymnast over here, it's crazy. Scratching at the walls is crazy. Not touch. Okay. Focus is on the game now. It was Dragon Time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This isn't just any new content. This is new content. Now we're talking.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
You could try to explore. You can't come out right now. They're gonna clean up my stuff a lot more before you can come exploring. No adventures.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley
And if
parable
anyone knows
and
all
how
about strip club
roundly
signs, it's
disappointing
you.
This ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a
Banned
measly
strip clubs as
re-release
far
of
as
a
the eye
few
can
minor
see.
Additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel, an entirely new experience built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
He's offended that I put him away.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just
He's just
so
sitting
much
in this corner
catchier
looking
than
at me.
Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
Okay, now he's standing in
But
this
the
corner.
Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic
What?
statement right there.
What, sir?
It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Da, da, da.
Now,
As I
to be
can send that
clear,
up.
I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around
I want
them.
to take the bus.
It'll all work itself out. Game development is
I want
much
it to
more of a
walk.
fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Okay. Let's start with the name.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along.
Okay.
I promise you'll love it.
I
Okay, here we go. Let's
could be
take a
Jim.
deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are
It's a
you
terrible life
really,
being a Jim,
truly
apparently.
Jim
This
right
sucks.
now? If so,
I don't
then
recommend this.
please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see, what a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
Oh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can
Hold
be
on.
too much, Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away.
No, give it back.
Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense
That's
of
fucked up. I was
who
opening up an
you
auto
actually
clicker. That way we
are.
could be Jim countless amount of times and with no limitations. That's crazy. Fucked up. That's absolutely fucked up. How dare you? I'll remember this. I'll remember this. I kinda looked it up to for tips while bearded dragons are shredding. Which he is. He's shedding a little bit. And one of the things is don't hold them. They don't like it.
I suppose I
Meanwhile,
could
he's
allow only
scratching at the
people
fucking
named
corner of the
Jim to
cage
play.
at me.
An
Excuse me,
epilogue
sir.
would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes.
I won't hold
yes,
you.
We'll go at the end of the
I hope you're okay
well,
with
we'll
that.
figure that out later.
I'll let you sit in there for a minute. He's protesting. He doesn't agree to these terms. Who is he to deny our gymnast? Exactly. Give it back. Okay. Evans. I was gonna say Evans right, but it's Evans. Right? That's fucked up. Isn't it like... No, I didn't mean to do that. Oops. I thought there should be another prompt. Unless it puts me right back at where I was. Fuck. I accidentally fucking clicked to try to hit the settings. You know what? Fuck it. Go back to the fucking settings then. Fuck you. Do. Why do you need a reticle? I guess maybe motion sickness might be a thing. Okay. I don't know if that did anything, but here we are.
All of his
Back to
code
the new
was gone.
content.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Where's
simply
the skip
missed a
button?
memo. Oh, good. you notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Hey, buddy.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Yippee! Now we get another chance at the gym, though.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've
Stream
been
probably won't be
developing
super long
for
tonight,
it.
by the way.
I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on.
Let's
Try out
go
some of the new
read gym.
features. For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So, sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
I have been waiting for my
Whoa,
gymliness.
whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory.
Jim.
If you don't properly roleplay as
Jim.
then you'll never understand the impact
I
of this
am
button.
Jim.
Otherwise,
You
it's just a
am
stupid
Jim.
button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first.
Excuse me, Dragon. Do you want to get named Jim?
Now,
How's that sound to you?
allow yourself to become
How do you feel about Jim?
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why
No.
don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
I want to keep
See,
gymming.
if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Don't you dare. How did it go into the floor like that? What if I just had the autoclicker on? Do you like this? It's like a Office Place ASMR. Do you enjoy that?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll
Our
figure that
war
out
cry, Jim, Jim, Jim. Let me in. The achievements over here. Hold on, what's over here though?
Stanley, here's
It's
an
the
idea
hole.
that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right.
Yay!
Infinite falling.
Bye.
You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Oh.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of
This
the
is a
hole.
new mug.
You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely?
Hold on.
I figured the hole was as deep
My
as
back
anyone
controller.
would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
I don't think I'm the problem. I think that you're the
Things
problem,
got a
buddy.
little
You're
heated
stop.
there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean.
No, I didn't
Why
say
don't we
anything that I
just
didn't
put
mean.
all this
I meant it
behind
all.
us and agree to just call the whole
Every last word of it.
mostly infinite. If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Let's see. Why is my controller not like? That's my issue. Does it just not see the controller? Because I want to play with the controller. It says it. It sees it. Am I not allowed to use it though? Like I'll press it and it doesn't believe in me. It doesn't think that I exist. I would like to exist. Can I exist? What if I do this? What if I move this out of here? This. Come on me. Doing my thing. Now will it connect better? No. It doesn't recognize it as a real option to use a controller. That's crazy. Even though there was an option for controller vibrate. That's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
Great. Now, I'm very excited. Oh, for heaven.
Okay.
You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the
I've like
hole
tab
seem
over
even
to
shorter
Spook
you
Stream
this
and I
time?
see that he has
couldn't
the
help but
same
feel like you spent a
wallpaper that I
little
do.
less time
The
in
Jinx
there
one.
than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Okay.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled.
Hey.
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point
Who
where
dropped
it's
all
no
these
longer
cigarettes down
feasible
here?
to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Okay.
Well, there it is.
Oh.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're
Yippee.
obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this
Yippee.
scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Oh.
Is the, teleport button not working?
I still have a jump. You better let me
Sure?
jump.
Well, I mean,
I have many a jump.
I really don't have an explanation.
I
It was
saved them
working
just
a
for
moment
this.
ago. Try it again.
Oh, it's still
Still
there.
nothing. Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye,
Oh.
Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win
Look, now
for
it's a much
everyone.
bigger hole.
You get to be with the hole. I get to do literally
I think this
anything
is a pretty
else.
good
Take
outcome.
care, Stanley.
That's a
I
massive
hope
hole.
you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity.
I'm sure that we will. My sweet baby hole. Every pause button is a Roman numeral 2. That's deep. Just like the. He was just pretending. The hole was pretending. Oh shit. That was good. Oh. Oh no, which one of these do you like? This one's really dramatic. It's like we're in like a drill. We're descending into hell. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh my, yeah, that's a good one. Huh? Look at him. Look at you. Look at him. It's dinner time. Look at him go. I don't like the robot. You can't make a beat with this.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley?
Huh?
Oh, good, you're awake.
Yes,
It
hello.
seems you had sort of dozed off there.
No, I'm chilling.
Drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley.
I'm vibing.
Because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
I IRL
From the
need that
looks of
because I am
things,
sleepy.
You and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Bye. Ooh, we never get along. I think Trick got it all wrong. Ooh, we call you out again. I think I need some new friends, new friends. Listen, you tell me.
Did
The
I
sound
jump
alerts aren't
scare you?
working.
Yeah, I bet I did.
Oh, they're not working on my end. For some reason, when I changed my my headset, even though I changed the device that OBS is using to monitor, it is not playing through it.
Here we are.
So yeah,
Go on.
you guys have to
Try
let me
out
know
some
if
of
the music is
features.
too loud or quiet or anything, and to make sure the fucking sound alerts still work. Because I can't hear it. So I just had to take a screenshot real quick.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Wait, where? Oh, there it is.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's
That's a trick
opinion,
question. I knew that it was a
that
lie.
you knew
I
which one
wanted
you
the
actually
Get Well
really
Someday.
wanted all along.
I wanted those
Get Well
ones.
Someday it is.
I like that one way better. That one is a 10 out of 10. I love it. But I never forget. Baby,
Well,
I
actually,
give, but I never
maybe I should
forget.
have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Have I gone over here already? It's the hole. Okay. I think Trick got it all wrong. Ooh, we know you out again. I think I need some new friends.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yeah. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now,
Gimme.
the achievement is still fully
Gimme.
broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature.
I
Gamers,
want it.
we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Fucked up.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
This one. I still have 26
You know
jumps.
what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
I'll just use a few of them. Any collectibles?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them.
Oh, that's a
I
good
don't
idea.
want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
I did it. I'm so good at this.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Honestly, the audacity.
Calling it the
Then I
Stanley
go to the
Parable 2
bucket.
is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you
I
think?
need to check out the gift shop
Ultra
too.
Deluxe? What does it even mean? but the Stanley Parable 2. Now
Okay.
that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
What do you think the chances are of that being a real QR code that actually leads to a merch site? And the chances are it better be. I'm not gonna buy it, but like it better be.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
But is there merch on the official website?
Does anyone
X.
give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
It's a whole meme website. Of course it is. I would never expect anything less. I'm not gonna lie. Exit. Did I see the epilogue? I don't remember it, but I know that there was a thing that said epilogue. What was in here? Epilogue. Okay, that's it. That's the entire. Okay, cool enough. Fair enough. I can't quite argue that because I lack the content to argue, which makes it much more difficult. There we go. Auto clicker will give us the chorus of the century.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
But the fuck is that? A whole 10-minute video set in the form of an old black and white infomercial. That's sequels, nah. That's insane.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
It's not kind of my jump start. I think I have like 20
I
something
mean,
left.
there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go, version 2.
Okay,
You're
okay.
not kidding, Stanley. This isn't a
No, I think
coherent
this
video
is a
game
step
at all.
up. There are
It's a lot
2
of
buckets in
gags.
there at least.
And I do very much enjoy
And look at all
creating
those
gags, but they don't add
standards.
up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it.
You barely
No
hear the
matter
narrator?
how good
Okay.
these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the
Oh, yeah.
gameplay of the original. Wait,
Well, learn why you couldn't all test
maybe
the
that's
fucking
it.
autoclicker.
I can take the original Stanley
Okay, how's that?
Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead.
Also, is the
Take a
music too
look.
loud or too quiet or anything? I can't hear it. Oh, that's a fancy fucking intro. I like it. I'm about this.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came
Hey.
to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Leaked government
although
secrets
others might
reveal
have
people's
considered it
social
soul
securities. I'm
food,
only halfway through the
Stanley
video.
relished
What in
every
the
moment
fuck is
of
this
the
game
orders
done? Should I be playing this?
As though he had been made
Is it safe for stream?
exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Runs after me.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order...
Okay. I was waiting to see if there's anything different, but it doesn't seem like there. Now I've got balloons.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is there a way to get up on
No
this?
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Hold on. Yes. Yes. Hey.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted
Sorry,
this
was
to
it made
stop?
next to your fucking
Do you
hometown?
think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole
Are you
gag
now? Are you
takes some
entirely sure
time.
the
What if
source
the other
of the
option is even longer? How long
the
will you spend in
radioactive
total
disaster
just
that
to
you
have
grew up
heard
next to?
all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option.
Well,
and
then
now
say
you've
what
come to
type
see
of
what
chemical
happens in
pollutant
this one.
byproducts?
So, what do you think? Which choice
I
was the
thought that
better
could
one?
include nuclear bypass.
Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Can I leave? I want to leave. Send me back. How about I just sit here for a little bit? Drink some Red Bull real quick. Fine.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Touch.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You don't know that. Well, I don't think it would be Stanley. I think it would be the narrator.
Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even see it.
Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
How about we consult the die? No, that's right. It's not the door on the left.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Okay. Odds into the broom closet. Oh, that's a 7. Into the broom closet.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of
I have one
reasons.
complaint. I have a
Even
lot
this
of
is worse
downtime
than
in
I
this
had
game.
imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, "Ah, it's a bucket." There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker. You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest,
No,
I'm
and it
sick of
definitely
the
makes it worse
pettiness
that
on
I'm already
display.
sleepy.
You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll
Okay, bye.
see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket. Coming to a
Let's go up.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Hey. Oh. I got the feeling money for stealings, but not yours, of course. Say that's a lovely purse. Okay.
You
I was
found
trying to figure out what the fuck
one of
that
the
said.
miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Okay. Touch. Oh. It's in here. Oh. This is the okay. Okay. Go away. What pen do you want, Freedom? Okay. Oh. Now I am prepared.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
It was 888.
Stanley
Yeah,
just
dream
sat
it.
around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
No way I could possibly know that. That's the thing.
2845.
Only I knew the code. Yeah, that would help. Fortunately, all I know is 8. I've never heard of anything else
before. It
before.
turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all
Yay!
by itself.
Oh my god.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story.
I'm so good at this game.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yoink.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Yippee! I'm so good at this. Touch. Doesn't make it so bad.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
It's going fine.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
Wait.
Mind Control Facility.
The Hows haven't been fucking keeping track. Do they only keep track if I have the program open? Because that's absolutely obnoxious. That is fucked up. Hold on. Does it work now? It does, okay. I'm gonna turn it off and back on again. Hey, you guys give me hell.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
It's
To be
not a
sure,
bucket.
it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Bye.
Farewell, Stanley, cried
Like I'm
the
standing in a
narrator,
bucket.
as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Yippee. Bye.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The grand exhibit of the bucket. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. The human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void, but through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? Probably the second one. Probably
Can you
the
see
ignorant
how
darkness.
arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this
That's
and
not-
to claim it for his own? Can you
That's
see
not
the
25
hubris
buckets.
that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
That's not 25 buckets. The greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. That's not 25. Photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. A ball pit, a bucket pit. This bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Valid. How fucking dare they? The absolute thought of two handles is insane. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite... Hold on. I just need it real quick. Hold on, just a real quick, just a super fast. Hold on. Where is it? Oh shit, no. We're not display capture. Window capture.
Now, including a supremely
pretty
uncool
familiar.
t-shirt and a glorious new character pin. Link in the description down below. Alright folks, gather round. I've got some good news and some bad
what I
news.
thought
Did you
about.
say good news and glad news? No, I said good news and bad news. Very bad news. Word on the street is there's going to be a horrible plague coming in from Central Asia in the next couple decades that'll wipe out half of Europe. What's the good news? Do you have a cure? Please say you have a cure. No. Even better. The good news is, we've got a new bucket for this city well. To understand the
This
war
is
of the
part of
bucket,
this is
we
the
first
theme,
need to talk
you
about
know?
this guy. He's the man with the plan, the host with the most. He's holy, lowly, he eats ravioli, with the white cassock, matching pellegrina, and the most tasteful of fringed fascias. Come on, y'all know who I'm talking about. It's the Pope, the head of the largest religious organization in the world. But what if I told you he wasn't always the big bad boy powerhouse he's often thought as today? That's right. Throughout history, the papacy often found itself forced to wrestle against adversity and opposition to retain its authority. The earliest popes, for example, suffered under the brutal persecution of the Roman Empire, and many ended up martyred, such as Pope Clement I, who was ostensibly thrown into the sea with an anchor around his neck. On the bright side, however, he's now the patron saint of fishermen. After persecution finally ended,
That's
the
kinda
Pope
buff.
still found himself being heavily controlled by secular kings and nobility. For over 2 centuries, the Byzantine emperor basically decided who could become Pope. Then came a real low point, during what has been called the Dark Age, a period where noblewomen controlled the Pope through, how should I put this? Feminine charm. It was around here that one infamous Pope, John XII, took office. This bad boy would hold, how should I put this? Naughty no-clothes parties in the Lateran Palace. And apparently, this would even happen. Come on, Zeus. Give me a 6. Did I say Zeus? I meant Thor. Ra the Egyptian sun god? Dang it, who is it we worship? Perhaps you should read this, Your Holiness. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth? Wow, this is wild! Pope John XII eventually died exactly how he lived, caught in the act by an irate husband who picked the Pope up and chucked him out the window. The point I'm trying to make here is that often the Pope was a very weak and corruptible figure and was regularly used and controlled by secular...
The ADHD has been satisfied. We're back. Hey. I don't have the bucket right now, by the way. There's no bucket. I think it died. The bucket drawing? Okay, fair enough.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
I want to jump for it. Oh, I didn't have to jump for it, just walked.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
Okay.
Don't reset the game.
Okay.
Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket.
Okay.
We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements
Okay.
if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as
Rest in
leader,
peace,
as
Stanley.
commander of a new world, a new vision for...
Stanley.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Touch.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Touch. I can't touch. I want to touch. Touch. I'm kind of twisted. Then you got
When Stanley came to a set of two
I
open
forgot to hit the
doors,
bucket. The content. The new fresh content. Oh. Well.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Huh? Where is this window going? Huh?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
You said right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Are you sure?
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
You're
telling
not
him
sure.
that the employee
You don't even know
lounge
that.
was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Bucket sucks.
Stanley
Fuck you,
took the door on
bucket.
his left to go back to the meeting room.
Okay.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, isn't
The
that one over
cargo
here?
lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Ba, 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 ba.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one? Let me
I
sit
like
on it.
Stanlerines.
I'm sure it will come to me.
I think Stanlerines is pretty solid. Me get. Oh. Okay. Take this pill, you'll feel much better when your brain's up nut and your brain spins 7. Your heartbeat won't be based on the weather. but
Okay,
tell
this is
yourself
day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
Wait.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Trust the completionist instinct is crazy.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yeah. Or I
You're
walked
getting
downstairs to
close
the
now,
Stanley
Stanley.
room.
You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlarines. None of us can.
We follow the story. Yippee! Hello, story. Sorry, it's easy to get lost and confused when there's
Stepping
no,
into his
no
manager's
storyline to
office,
follow.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
hold on,
of
auto
any
clicker.
human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
I jaded. Ba, 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 ba.
2845.
It's supposed to be like a hairpin. I put it like there, but like it's not a very good hairpin, is it?
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and
It
the
just
door
kinda hangs
just
down there.
opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Oh, sorry. I can't tell where it's. There you go. Oh, damn.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never!
Wait
He
a
squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
That was so loud. I don't even think it worked on yours. I keep forgetting this is a thing you could do. Hold on, hold on, hold on. And then put it in the stream. Oh, motherfucker, we've been here. What's crazy is that you guys don't get to hear it because I don't feel like setting up the
But
audio
here
for
was
it.
the proof.
I gotta have to deal with
The
it.
heart of the operation.
But I can.
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over
Spook, that wasn't much of a stream. You're already done? I was lurking, but I didn't get a chance to really hang out over there.
Two best
But
friends,
how was it?
Stanley and the Bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the Bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Solo leveling? Yeah, Purity, I haven't seen you all night. Did we stream there? Alright, bet.
When at last they came to the source,
I'll try to actually hang out around more.
Stanley and the Bucket waited in blackness.
But yeah, go
Was it
have
over?
fun. And thank you for the raid. And I'm glad that you're
Yes,
still alive.
They had done it. Stanley and the Bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the
They
evil
should.
mind control machine.
I don't
Freedom was
remember what
now
I have
mere moments away.
scheduled for tomorrow. If I
Excitedly,
actually
the
had
two
a
of them
thing or if
began to
it's just
discuss the
DVD.
kind of life
I don't
they
remember.
wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The Bucket wanted to learn to roller skate.
Never heard of
Stanley
it.
wanted to sneeze in every
I don't know if it's
country
my
on
type of
Earth.
thing though.
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Did he just cut himself off?
What? Wait. What was happening?
On page
Why
1,
had the
oh
door
god.
stopped?
I think I had like
Was
4
Stanley
days.
and the Bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room.
You have a
lingering
minute,
in
but not
uncertainty.
too long of a minute.
Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the Bucket to leave.
Huh.
Even the facility itself
No.
recognized the incredible
That's
calming
fucked up.
presence of the Bucket, needed the
I mean,
soothing warmth of the Bucket.
Too dark in
Go
here.
to any lengths not to part with the
Fucked
Bucket.
up.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious Bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the Bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my Bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Is he? Oh, we're loading. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Wait, back to tab.
All of his
Thank-
warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the Bucket in his arms again, Stanley clutched the Bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
It's for sure reaching the point of not being a real word anymore. Like, you can't convince me. Bucket was a fake word the whole time. You can't fool me, game. I see through your lies.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the Bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I don't remember where the other one was.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
It's like-
to discover not an indication of
It said it was like
anything. Crushed by
a
the weight of
red
this
and a
revelation,
blue
Stanley
door, but I
may have
don't
broken
remember
down
where
into
that
an
is.
emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the Bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the Bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The Bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the Bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the pin number for the keypad was 2845.
God, if only I knew those things. But I don't. So if I take this, right, and put it like right
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
there.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
No, you go there. You stay.
2845.
That's crazy. If only you knew that. But Stanley wouldn't know that, so I can't put it on. That'd be cheating. I wouldn't be following the narrative like how you should.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and
That's
the
so
door
convenient.
just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
So convenient, dude. I love whenever things happen like this. Da 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 da.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Oh, perfect. Now I got the gaming keys. So I'll get rid of my hot chocolate. There you go. I got the gaming hands. What have I done here?
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The
I
bucket
got
had never seen
the thing
anything like
doesn't
this,
actually
and it very
track
nearly burst
if
into
I use the
tears
auto
as
clicker.
Stanley cradled
It
it
doesn't count that
gently,
it's clicking.
reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told
It's
to do
pretty
things
close to
it
mine,
didn't
but
wish
mine's
to do?
black.
What kinds
Well,
of
it's black
things
in
does a bucket
RPG
want to
because
do
you know every
or not
fucking
want to
gamer
do in
keyboard
the
is
first
RPG.
place? These questions
Let
raced
me in.
furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends,
What the fuck is
Stanley
this ad
and the
for?
bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a
I'm not
really
even
cool
listening
way,
to it. I
and
turned
the
it
bucket
almost
made a
completely
saucy
off. It's just
comment
kind of there.
about taking down the system.
Another success tragedy. Control the mouth, so shut your mouth, so shut your mouth.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
That's
Stanley
fucked up, bucket.
gasped in horror.
That's fucked up.
Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds.
Birds.
Silly birds.
Oh, so silly.
The control buttons
so
became
silly.
active again.
Ooh, what type of silly? Ooh, this one. Ooh, those are silly. Actually, they're not that silly. They're just kind of vibing.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a
That's a little bit
mind-control
silly.
facility
That's
at
like
all.
mildly silly.
It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world.
Hey.
The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its
It
true
makes
intentions.
so much sense
Had
now.
the
Oh my
bucket known this
god.
all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible
Ooh,
paths his life could
owls
have
are
taken,
fucking sick.
this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
And it's looped. Oh. Oh, okay.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Okay.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this
Yeah.
for the achievement?
Yeah.
Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth?
Yeah.
No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort.
Aw.
A measly 5 clicks.
Yeah.
Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it.
Okay,
I
okay.
want this achievement to have meant something. It has
Okay.
to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why
Okay.
don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Okay.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Okay.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so. Now, back to door number 437.
Okay.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the cop. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Is this one? Yes.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Okay. You? Oh. Where are you? You.
Yes, this is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
Over here.
We've almost got it. Now the copy machine,
This is so
do that
intense.
one again.
I have to go really far back to the copy machine.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks on. Yes,
We did it. You got the achievement.
Oh wow,
We're
that
gods.
felt amazing.
Gaming gods.
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled.
Bye.
He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Yeah,
But
it is.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him,
No.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yeah. No, never mind. The
You know.
bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, I didn't. Fuck you.
No,
You can't
Said the bucket.
stop me.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Okay.
The cargo lift, yes. Go
Yes.
there. Good.
Said the bucket.
Yeah.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
Yeah.
There's something up there I need you to do.
Yeah.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Whee!
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
A dark room. This one? Oh, that dark room.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
No.
Oh, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
No, I don't want
Were
to.
you trying to resist the bucket's orders?
Yeah.
Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me
What do you
seriously.
mean?
Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's
Hey
take
there.
a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political
Oh, because you're giving me really bad
And more importantly,
name
Can
suggestions.
it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is
I'll do it again.
yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to
far
80
too
centimeters
tired to
from them
care.
in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then
Hey, Hornet.
spell out your name a second time.
Okay.
With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor.
Okay.
Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary.
Huh?
When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice,
Okay.
I'm Dunny with the funny. Let's practice
How are you in
screaming,
trouble with the
I'm
cops?
Dunny with the
Is
funny.
it because you didn't
now.
say that you were Denny with the funny? That probably would have saved you.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
I don't believe you.
Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared
Hornet.
to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
You turned a nothing. If this is true, you've turned a nothing situation into a something situation.
Isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So, with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the
Pretty
two
sure
doors
the
and walk
resisting
through
arrest
all of this
and
again, so I
evading
can try
police
telling my
officer
story
is in
with
fact
more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's
is
head back.
is a offense that will send you straight to jail. And they also already have your license plate, so that's cool. So good luck. You had alcohol in yourself. Well, you wouldn't have. Was it that obvious?
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Nah, this is a troll. This is for sure a troll. There's no way. Where are we going? Why are we going backwards?
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Yeah.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered
I mean,
the door
if what
on
you
the
say
left.
is true, then I wouldn't be too worried. I'm pretty sure they're just gonna show up at your door with an arrest warrant because you have an address probably registered to the vehicle that they scanned. So if what you're saying is true, you're fucked.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back. Here
Nah,
we
it's a
go.
troll.
You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley
I
and the
don't
bucket
understand
came to a set of
it.
two open doors,
What do you mean?
they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back.
You tip it in your head. Yeah. So
When Stanley
it's about
and
the word
bucket
bucket.
came to a set of two open
It's
doors,
relevant.
they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land, or not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
Okay. Oh.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not?
No, the first one was better.
Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket?
Uh-huh.
Stanley,
For
it's
sure,
like this thing is
Hornet. I
mental.
believe
think I
you.
saw it playing guitar. No. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos.
That's crazy.
Let's see.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I know, like, I believe them wholeheartedly. Me doubt either of these two? Psh, of course not. Never.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
If you had to
Crushed by
guess
the weight of this
how
revelation,
much of that
Stanley
was
may have
a
broken down into an
true
emotional
statement,
dumpster fire, if not
what
for
would you say the
soothing
number
presence
is?
of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed
I'm
in the
sure
tender
you do.
spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Did I get everything from that one? think so. Can I go back? I changed my mind.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3.
Okay.
I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again.
Okay. No, that's fine.
The bucket said
Yes,
nothing.
that's okay. I'll head back then. Number 3.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that
Okay.
number 3 button.
3.
He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over.
Okay.
Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
What if I don't have enough of the number 3? What if I just kind of want to chill here with my number 3? Kind of vibing with it, you know? 3. What else could I put on the, on this? That one. It's kind of hard because I can't fucking scroll without zooming it out. It's crazy. Everything you do is a never mind. Is dead. Fuck you. It's a really tiny smiley face. Or frowny face.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
I mean, that's a great point there. Thank you for reminding me of this.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again? No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
After something, I might call it there. I'm sleepy.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears, and the whole time he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
Okay.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Back up. I don't think that backup was the solution.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one. There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
I'll do one more.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone.
Get a bit closer to 10 and then I'll
Finally.
call it after that.
This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
I don't think that's what the story was before. He now he wants the loneliness. Okay. Fuck you, bucket. Hey. Hey, bitch.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Me down. I wonder, can I go back up the elevator without the bucket? Let's do it.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Kind of funny too, because it loads every time. I'm back.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Okay, fair enough. But now that I watch this, what if I go back and then I come back? Then how would you feel?
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again?
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, what?
I
It's
like the
boss's
original
office
better
this
than the
time.
bucket.
The suspense is killing me.
Bucket gets kind of boring after a while. Actually, not after a while. Pretty quick.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a timeout here for a minute while I process this.
Okay. Take all the time you need.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
Okay. Take your time. I'll be here. I'll wait.
All right. I have fully come to terms with it.
That's good.
I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality.
I'm glad to hear
As
it.
before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley. Of course. Going back down in the elevator.
Yeah.
How did I not anticipate it?
You should have.
Sure, now it's
Makes
obvious,
sense.
but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before.
I know.
I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Yes. You should be impressed. Not everyone can come up with this stuff.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment.
Okay.
Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess.
See, I like this way better than the bucket. This is way better.
I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
Okay.
There we go.
That's a way
Isn't
better
this
speed.
so
Yeah, that's good.
much more exciting. You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over.
Yeah.
Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different.
Yeah.
It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to.
Yeah.
We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you.
Oh,
so
hold on.
that you can talk
I'm
about
probably
your
gonna
work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who
I'm gonna get to the end of this ending and then I'll call it.
They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better.
Oh.
Oh, good, we're here. Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Okay.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door. All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
Okay. You still, or not, you saw the stuff on you, I guess. Oh, you haven't been around for the ADHD times. I haven't had a good one lately. Oh. That's it. Yeah, close the door.
All of his co-workers were... Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just
Can we go back home?
smiled.
Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Can't go back. Wait. This is a good one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, never dropped
Stanley
it.
touched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley.
It's
Maybe,
perfect.
he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity.
Only one of them
And
has
then
the
suddenly,
stickers.
he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Wow.
It was
Did it fit?
incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
I found dog food, so I turned it on. And then we died.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course,
Yeah,
he'd
that'll
gone
do it.
mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
No. Enough. Enough. Eat 'em. Now I'm scouting for a raid. Oh yeah, tomorrow should be Kill Your Friends. So if anyone wants to join in on that, yeah. That's the plan tomorrow. Just repeating bucket anyway. Yeah, this wouldn't happen. You had your bucket. That's the problem. Da, 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 da. You know who's alive right now? Our raid, our general raid target. And that's not gonna stop today. Wait, tomorrow, like I said, I should do a Kill Your Friends. If there aren't enough people, then I'll just play normal DVD. But if you would like to join in on the Kill Your Friends, be here when the stream starts. And we'll probably do kind of like how we did before, where everyone will get a turn playing killer and then play against everyone's killer, and then we'll swap to like the next group. But I can't imagine there usually aren't too many. The backup per usual, right? Bet. Okay. Let me start the raid. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. On Sunday I'm gonna start Red Dead 2. I've never played it. I haven't even seen very many videos of it. I've mostly just seen people goofing around and tying each other to the back of each other's horse. You'll be streaming too? Did you want to kill your friends with me? Or did you want to focus on your event? Your favorite games? Alright, well then I demand that you guide me, I guess? Do you kill your friends? Hell yeah. Then yeah, I'll be live at the normal times. Which will be like 5 your time. Okay. I will see you all tomorrow night then. Have a good night and bye-bye.